grills in my mouth double as a freeze. The grills in my mouth double as a freeze. The grills in my mouth double as a freeze. The grills in my mouth double as a.
Okay, guys, welcome back. We're joined with Gino. How do you pronounce your last name, man? I've been trying to figure it out all last night. I'm so sorry.
Ghalehpardez.
Ghalehpardez. Okay, I guess it's not that hard. I put too much thought in it.
Gotta hear
Gino the heel Ghalehpardez. He'll be fighting at the upcoming event, Brawl by the Falls, June 25th. How's it going, man? How's the camp been? How's training been? How's everything been?
Training's been good, man. We're just kind of finishing off. This week will be the last hard week, and so we're just everything's been going good, man. I feel good, ready to rock. So I just want the 25th to be here. I just want to get in there. I just want to get it done. I just want to get to work. So it's good, I guess.
Yeah, I guess this all the suspension building up. Were you originally planned to be on the card back in December or no?
Yeah, same
Yeah.
opponent too. We were actually we were gonna be the first fight, so I guess we got a little promotion. We got a little bump up to the main card, so that's kind of cool. So
Yeah, so I was talking to I had Chris on Chris Mancuso, obviously. I had him on about a month ago. He's talking about, the feelings that he went through as a promoter when the fight was canceled back in December due to Omicron. It is what it is. It's back up now, but I just want to get your, like, as a fighter's perspective, like, what were your thoughts? Obviously, I'm assuming you had a camp leading up to it. You're waiting for it, and so I'm assuming you was disappointed. But what other feelings did you have when you found out? Like, how did you find out when the fight was canceled and the event was canceled?
we found out. Trying to remember, we were cutting weight. We just finished cutting weight. I think so. What had happened was um, we began honestly to get a little suspicious just before and maybe they had told us because I received it on my phone. Um, we were starting to get a little suspicious just before I saw that because what we did was we were going to go and they told us the commission would be there an hour earlier and like they had told us prior. So we were like, okay, well, we'll go and just make sure that my scale was correct. My scale is very, very, very accurate, but we wanted to, be safe.
Right.
So we went down to the hotel lobby and we said, hey, can we use we use the commission scale? Like we want to use the scale to which she's like, yeah. So she pulls out this bathroom scale and we're like, no, we met like, where's the commission? She's like, oh, they're going to be in this room. So coach said, hey, just go on that scale, just kind of see if that it's at least consistent, and I'll go check and see what's happening, because I think we were about 45 minutes away. Commission to set everything up's got to be there well before an hour, so we're talking 35 minutes, 45 minutes. So I go on the scale and we're on, like, we're just on. So we were like, okay. And then but coach comes back and he goes, there's no one in that room. And we were like, well, that's really odd. And I started just kind of feeling like, I don't know, I just kind of started feeling a little uneasy. We had been, not even thinking about Omicron or whatever. We knew that obviously
Right.
that was rumbling, but we didn't, we thought of that as a whole separate entity. So,
Right.
regardless, for the last 45 minutes, let's just go sit and just chill, right? Like, let's say
Yeah.
maybe we go in a little bit of a hot tub just to kind of just to be safe, right? We were on, but we wanted to be safe because, just to make sure. So we go, and I remember feeling like uneasy. And then that's when we got the notification that the whole show was off. And once we got back, and honestly, man, it was such a shitty feeling.
Yeah.
You know what it was? Like, I akin it to like feeling like kind of hopeless. That's the way, because there was nothing you could do. It was just out of our control. And yeah, I actually saw it before coach, and coach was like, all right, get in the thing. And I was like, I'm not going anywhere. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, get in the thing.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not happening. I tossed him my phone. I was like, dude, it's over. It's not happening. So yeah, I mean, it was really, really crappy. But I will say, tarps off, Chris Mancuso, I guess now front row, they did right by us. They did pay us, and I truly think that was not only was that the right thing to do for a show that's starting, like, I think, but it was just the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do by us, and it went a very long way in my mind, to ensure that they were serious, and and they were looking out for the best interests of the sport. I love this sport to death, right? I love, and I would never want to do anything as a disservice to the sport. I look down very, I look down on people who do, and so I was very, very happy with the way that they talked to us, the way they explained the situation, them just giving us our show, like that for me went a very long way. So I told him, listen, man, if you guys have a show, like I want to be on it. You know, I grabbed Chris. I said, listen, you put this fight back on. I want to fight this guy. So I want to fight
Yeah.
him. I want to fight him on your show. So please, like, give me that opportunity. And I stared him dead in the eye until he told me he would do it. So since then, obviously, I've gotten to fight since then for the BTC show, and then this opportunity popped up, and I was all for it. So it's cool that we're finally here. I'm glad that stuff is behind us, and I'm just ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. That what you said rings true. Like in terms of in terms of the way Chris and Tarpsov dealt with everything in that situation. I talked to a bunch of other guys that were supposed to be on the card before it got canceled, and they all said the same thing. They said, Chris handled it very professionally. All the fighters were paid, so there wasn't any screwy business going on after that, which
No.
is good. Yeah. So you fought on the BTC card in London, right? Clash, is that the one you
Yes.
fought on? So
Yep.
did you find going into that fight, based off of the training camp and things that you had for the original card in December for Tarps Off, did you find it hard to get yourself out of bed to get going because how disappointed you were of the training camp for the last fight went, or did you just have like a mind reset saying, you know what, new fight, new card, all that's behind me?
I don't know if any of those would be applicable in the sense because I took the fight on short notice. I took it on 4 days, 4.5 days notice,
Yeah.
right? So I was not even supposed to be on the show at all. Um, to be honest, when the fight fell apart, I had lost a lot of motivation. In the sense of like I've never lost motivation to train, but I lost maybe a little bit of motivation in the sense of man, like, what am I doing? Like, I got to get going. Like, it wasn't the first time I've had a fight fall apart, but I always looked at it as like, what is it that I do? I get in the gym and I work. And what is it I do the next day? I get in the gym and I work.
Yeah.
And that never changed. So for me, like training camp, I don't even look at it. I kind of like a lot of people use that training camp. I don't look at it as training camp. For me, it's practice. I'm in there every day. I work hard every day. I'm in there 6, 7 days a week. You know what I mean? So for
Yeah.
me on that day to day, maybe the intensity changes for sure. You push a little bit harder. Like I will admit, like, yeah, for sure. Um, but in terms of a training camp, I was just doing what I was doing normally. Is I was just training. I was just training hard, and then obviously there's certain elements from the stylistically it was a little bit different. So stylistically, maybe it wasn't certain parts of it were a little bit different. But I mean, I was already in shape, so it
Right.
already because I just stayed in shape the whole time, right? So
Right.
getting that opportunity to jump on a 5 days notice was great, and I've just kind of since then, I went from the December, I kind of kept in shape, revved it up a little. I mean, as much as you could within the 4 or 5 days notice. And then, but since then, I've kept that engine going um, from that show to this one. So in a weird way, like I've just been able to bounce off of those, but stay in shape and just continue the progression. So I never really like went from 100 to 0, 100 to 0. I just kind of kept that momentum. I don't know if that really answers your question, but
Yeah.
it's just been a continuous cycle in that sense.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, right? Because like you get fighters like yourself that like always train, they're always consistently training, and then fight camp, you just ramp it up. That's
Yeah.
it's so funny because like you get like people like you that's how they do it, and then like on the pro level, like Paddy Pimblett, you just gets fat when he's not training, man.
Yeah.
Do you think
No,
that's
of course.
do you think that's like quick side note? Do you think that's sustainable? It can't be sustainable long term. Just like the not training at all and gaining all that weight before a fight, and then once a fight camp comes, you ramp it up to 100. Like, do you think that's
Uh,
sustainable long term?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's maybe able to sustain it for now, but I think as he gets kind of closer and closer to title opportunities and bigger things, he's going to probably try and keep his weight down. I think you will see at some point him say, hey, now I'm keeping my weight down. I'm in the gym, 24/7. I think at some point you are going to see it. I do think in his particular case, I think he received a fairly lengthy suspension. So it maybe just encouraged him to, well, I can't do anything anyway, so I might as well just enjoy it. But I
Yeah.
do think once, yeah, like you said, like once it gets closer, I don't think long term it's sustainable. Nor do I think it's smart. Obviously, you need a little bit of a break, but I think an intelligent break, productive break, goes along much better than just a complete, staying away
Yeah.
for a couple of months, for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then like you look at a guy like George St. Pierre, like he's retired, and this the way his body looks like he could fight tomorrow. Like it's crazy.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
it's so weird to see him with hair too. I'm just gonna put a side note there.
It is very, very odd. I felt the same. I was mortified when I saw it for the
Yeah,
first time.
it makes it's such an uncomfortable feeling seeing George St. Pierre with
Yeah.
hair, but
Yeah.
I'm not. It might be a hair piece. I'm not sure. I don't know.
I have no idea what's going on. It's beautiful in its own way, but more than anything, it's just horrifying. So
Yeah. So this is only your third pro fight, correct?
that's right.
So I'm sorry, I have your record here. So you had 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so you only lost one fight at amateur.
Right.
Technically your amateur career right now is longer than your pro career. I'm assuming a lot of your pro career was offset due to COVID, right? Just the fight scheduling and yeah.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah, it was sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No,
sorry.
it's all good, bro. So like, what are the main differences? Obviously, you fought a few more times in amateur than pro. Obviously, aside then like the rule set and the things you can and can't do, is there a difference in like the atmosphere during the fight between a pro, like for example, like fighting at PFC and fighting at BTC, amateur event and pro event? Like, are there key differences that you can point out that saying like, wow, this is what makes a pro event very different than an amateur event, or the other way around?
I don't know if there ever was for me. I just
Yeah.
took it very seriously. I did a lot of smoker shows and stuff like that prior. But I told myself, I'm like, I'll make my big mistakes and learn my learning process in those smoker shows. But then once even the amateur MMA shows came, I took it very, very seriously.
Right.
I think maybe my mindset changed a little bit in terms of being a little bit more serious when it came to my diet and my strength and conditioning training. But just to go back to it, I was training every day. Getting before fighting amateur, I was training every day. While fighting amateur, I train every day. Now that I'm fighting pro, so maybe in that sense it didn't change. But I think on the little things changed. The little things, just
Right.
taking it more seriously, embracing the moment, being a little bit more scientific about it. But I think other than that, when it came to training, not a whole lot changed for me.
So your current fight upcoming is against No Crosswell. I watched the video you guys both did with Chris, the little mini press conference video. Not they have to go over the whole story again, but just for our viewers really quick. So you guys don't have exact history, but you guys, you're saying how you guys have always been at the same shows. Just go over that a little bit for our viewers.
Yeah. So Noah's fought my adrenaline teammate Maddie 3 times. So I was on the shows that they fought twice, and I've been just on shows around with them. I just we just been around each other a long time. I would see how he would get a lot of opportunities with sponsorships and stuff, and I couldn't get a lick. Of any opportunities, I felt like I had to work really, really hard to get even half the opportunities. So I really wanted this fight. It's not bad blood with him per se, but envy is the son of a bitch, and it keeps me up at night. And I want what he had, and I want to take it from him. And I want to propel I know at some point his name was a lot bigger than mine, especially in the amateur scene. But there wasn't a day that I didn't think that I could beat that guy, and I get my chance to finally do that and use his name to propel mine. So there we go.
Yeah, for sure. That fires me up, bro. I'm fired up for this whole card. What do you think of the rest of the card, man? What do you think of having Michael Imparato on? Originally it was supposed we had the Xavier Nash Jordan Baumler fight. That
Yeah.
fight.
I mean, I think it's a solid show. Obviously, he's very Michael Imperato is very skilled. I mean, it sucks that we've got some of those injuries. It fell. It happened. It is what it is. There's not really anything you can say. You're just kind of disappointed. I'm a fan. I like watching fights just as much, if not more than most. So whether it be local or at the highest level. So in that sense, you never want to see anyone get injured. You never want to see fights fall apart. It is what it is. That I'm sure that fight will happen at some point, and they'll be back. But on the card, I think the card's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be very action oriented, and people are just going to everyone I think on the show just wants to punch each other in the face. So there's nothing
Yeah.
better than that.
That's the vibe I've been getting. I'm talking to Chris all the time, and Chris is texting me like, "Yo, these guys just want to go now, man." Like, I just text him all the time asking him for updates, how the ticket sales are doing, just because I'm curious. He's like, "Yo, these guys want to go." These guys just want to fucking go tomorrow, man. Like,
yeah, man.
It seems like everyone's anxious to be on the card, and I'm anxious, and a lot of other people are anxious to watch it. It's a good, man. Like, I'm really glad that they chose to do it in the falls. I feel like Niagara Falls, like in some weird way, like I'm from St. Catharines, so I roast Niagara Falls all the time. I always call it Crackheadville and stuff like that. But the tourist area, I think there's a lot of untapped potential, like for it to be like a fight hub of Canada. You know what I mean? Like I see all the time, like people call, it's the Vegas of Canada. It's the Vegas of Canada. But the biggest thing about Vegas is the fights, man. Like they're the fight capital of the world. You all hear it all the time with the T-Mobile Arena. They always have UFC events there.
Yep.
They always used to have the big boxing fights, the MGM Grand. So do you think there's like an untapped, like, do you think it's possible? Because like you guys have the Brawl at the Falls card on the 25th, and then the following week there's Lucas Body. He has his boxing card there the next week. So do you think there's like Niagara Falls has the potential to be that area?
I do think so. I think that it's they need to actively work to promote the idea of it being like a fight, a fight destination. I think maybe that's something that because I mean I'm not from Niagara Falls, but I go to Niagara Falls. We used to go all the time. So me and my fiance, we would go all the time. So in that sense of it feeling like a mini Vegas, you're right. I think there's and on top of that, like you're saying, like a mini Vegas with the strip and everything, they have shows all over, right? So like concerts and things like that. I think fights are something big that they're missing out on. I think that they should. I don't know if they just don't really actively promote the idea that, hey, we can do fights here. We should be doing fights here. I think it would be a great addition. And I think it would really propel it as a whole. So I think, yeah, if they want to kind of take everything to the next level, I think that it would be a wonderful idea. And I think it would be a great untapped opportunity that they could, take advantage of. And I think it would pay a lot of dividends.
Yeah, I think so too. Like it's such a shame, man, because they had because you have the whole, like, literally right across the border, all of New York, man. They have, like, in terms of like high level, like I think if Niagara Falls, like the biggest thing in Niagara Falls, they don't have like that like central like arena, like, you know what I mean? Like if they were to ever have like a like maybe a UFC or a Bellator one day to come to Niagara Falls, they don't have like a set place they could host it. Like you're not gonna have a UFC fight night at the convention center, right?
Yeah. No, I think that is the biggest thing. I don't know. The thing is too is like the way Niagara Falls is, for that to happen, they would have to either find a way to withstand the convention center or build an arena. And I don't know what the parameters of that would be, how long that would take, right?
Yeah.
I think they have the Niagara Ice Dogs, right? But I don't know how far away that is. So you
Yeah,
would want something ideally on the strip. So that's, I think, the biggest thing. It's like you have an arena, but from my understanding, it's not it's not within walking distance, if I'm correct.
For the Ice Dogs arena?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ice Dogs arena play in a whole different city. They play in St. Catharines, where I live. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know. So yeah, that's I think that's the biggest problem. I think if they were to do something like that, they would have to have it in Niagara proper and within walking distance of the strip. The reason why T-Mobile does so well, the reason why MGM did so well, they were all within walking. Like MGM was in the hotel on the strip. I've been to T-Mobile. T-Mobile's on the strip, right? Like it's there. So that's I think the biggest thing. to start getting the bigger shows. Right now, you're going to get a lot of, they'll be able to pull off a lot of regional shows, but I think to grasp that major attention, maybe that's the thing that they'll need to take it to the next level. And maybe they'll be able to do it. Maybe they will be able to do it with the regional shows. I think that they'll just need to pump out regional shows more consistent. And I think it'll go back to maybe being like, hey, we have these available. We want a focus on bigger fights. And I think that, starting off with this, jumping into that boxing show, and then just keeping that momentum. They need to work on keeping that momentum going. I think it'll go a long way.
Yeah, I think yeah, I agree with you, man. It's just a shame. I just want to see it happen, right? Because Canada doesn't really have that fight destination ever since COVID too. No one's came we've heard the buzz like as Canadians and as Ontarians about the Canadian MMA scene, the rise of bunch of gyms, rise of Top Team, and then
right. Yeah.
And but it feels like other people outside, like if you're not in Ontario, you don't really know what's going on. I think we just need to break that barrier in, and maybe I'm hopeful that the Brawl by the Falls card and the following week with the boxing fight that like I said, keep the ball rolling, just snowballs get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
People decide maybe BTC wants to do a card at the convention center, maybe some other promotion, maybe some other boxing fight they want to have at the convention center or anywhere in the falls. Yeah, man, I hope that happens. I think it'd be pretty dope.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, so guys, that's been another episode. We got this is coming out on Friday the 17th. We have a bunch of interviews coming out. So thanks to Gino for hopping on. Catch him on the 25th of June at the Niagara Falls Convention Center. For Brawl by the Falls, we'll be fighting Noah Crosswell. Yeah, any final words, man?
I just wanted to thank Team Adrenaline MMA, Vision Quest MMA, for Jiu-Jitsu. I got out a little bit to Agus as well, and a little bit to Niagara, and I also wanted to thank my two sponsors, Dr. King Faisal. He's the man. Not only did he do our medicals, he's been gracious enough to sponsor me, and he's just the man. I love him to death, so I appreciate him. And my other sponsor, Exo Cookie Co., the best custom sugar cookies you will ever have. They're too pretty to eat, but they're good too. So we make sure to snack on a bunch of those after the fight. So yeah, just more than anything, thank you to my training partners, and the 25th, we get it. Yeah, we're getting it, guys. Go to frontrowfightclub.com and you use code Gino at checkout too. Get Gino a cut. Yeah, guys. Okay, see you guys later.